Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I have an interesting development. Saifedean just messaged me. He said, I didn't think we were recording. I've been tweeting back and forth with him for several days. Live show. You know, I'm not sure what the confusion is. And then he said, sorry, I have another commitment. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask you, my viewing audience, for those of you who care, for those of you who want to be a learning machine like me, for those of you, here's the thing. Listen, he's a smart guy, great economist, wrote an amazing book. I don't want anyone to be mean, but I bet that part of this is he thinks, listen, who am I? I'm just another YouTube channel. He doesn't care, about coming on the show maybe. I would just like him to see there are people who care. He's got his Twitter account, and I think you should follow him. Like, the fact that he doesn't come to my show doesn't make him less intelligent. Maybe he's smart. He knows he shouldn't come on my show. No, I mean, listen. But anyways, let me just share his Twitter account, and I think it would be great. I think if people sent him a message, said, "Hey, I wish you were on Dave's show," because I have some questions that other people aren't asking. We're gonna, want to dig deep, ask, to learn more. I think this was a great opportunity. I mean, I was really excited. And if he sees there are people out there who are like, "Whoa, I wish you came on Dave's show today," and he gets several of those messages, he may think, wow, I guess people do care. And if you did buy the book, say, "Hi, I bought your book," or "I'm going to buy your book." Like, I'm not going to tell you, "Hey, don't buy his book now because of this," either, because I think it's an important book. It's a great book. And listen, what is he, who am I? If he doesn't, those who don't know me don't love me, maybe. But I don't want anyone being an ass. I don't think he's, listen. The point is, but if he sees, listen, he's working hard, trying to promote, get sales of his book, and spread his message. And that's what we are about here. And maybe he didn't value it, and also he may have had, maybe perfectly explained thing. No matter what, though, him knowing that you out there, the viewing audience, were really interested in hearing more about him and his book, and you have or are going to buy his book, send him a tweet. So I'm trying to find what's his it's at Saifedean. I'm going to put it in the chat here. I'm going to spell it. Send him, and if you honestly send him a tweet now. Like I said, don't be assholes. I don't want him to think that I'm a fucking, bunch of asshole YouTube channel, like a bunch of, "Oh, you're a dick," none of that. Be very polite. He's an economist. You know what I mean? This is a sophisticated guy. He's not going to respond to people saying he's a dick. You say, "Listen, I want to learn. You bought the book." Okay, I'm repeating myself. @ S as in Sam, A as in Apple, I as in Igloo, F as in Frank, E elephant, D David, E elephant, A apple, N Nancy. Saifedean at Saifedean. Send him a tweet, direct message, and just say you wish he came on DaveLevine.com YouTube channel. If you send it right now, you're waiting. Please, I think that'll help. Because also if he comes on the show, it helps me maybe get other guests. And I'm not, listen, I don't know what everybody thinks of me. Obviously, people watching, you guys, you think I'm good. I got questions here. I wrote, this is like, and my questions, they aren't, "Oh, was Bitcoin to the moon?" Like, here's the first question. I got a whole fucking paragraph. This, few pages of questions here. But, I'll even tell you. I mean, I don't, some of this, I guess I'll share with you my first question. And it's my favorite sentence from his book, because it really, I just love this. "Economic logic clearly shows how recessions are the inevitable outcome of interest rate manipulation, in the same way shortages are the inevitable outcome of price ceilings." Now, and I gotta say too, I gotta let you know. So I make my videos, and when I do my videos on economics, I lose about 50% of my audience. I mean, I think 50% of you really like the economic stuff. And to me, actually, that's great. To get, that many people interested in this economic stuff is a pretty good number. When I talk about what is happening with prices of all tokens today, that's my full audience. And then it gets narrowed with the economics. And then, asking Saifedean the questions I was going to ask gets a little deeper. And then I was going to, so I understand how when you adjust the price, I mean, I don't know if you guys want me to go into this, but it's like, I wasn't going to ask stupid questions either. This was a good interview. Let me just check if he's messaged again. No, he's just, I think he's, no. Well, he didn't even read my reply yet. I mean, listen, he's busy, but we had a plan here. I mean, listen, he's on Twitter. He's got a lot of messages. Maybe he didn't read closely. I have no idea. I like to think of the best of people. I don't think he's intentionally trying to fuck me up. So anyways, let's see what you guys are saying here, and we'll do something else. Somebody said, yeah. Is he going on Tony Vay's? Oh, that's gold silver guy, I think. I'm not that into these gold silver guys. That's a whole nother story. Did he refuse? No. I talked to this Saifedean tweeting weeks ago. I'm also trying to help him come to Los Angeles. In fact, I talked to multiple Bitcoin groups. I got this one guy he's doing. I'm going to help contribute some money to get him to come. I talked to another Bitcoin group who said he'll send his people to this event. And then I have another group. I'm trying to help this guy come to Los Angeles so I can meet him. I mean, part of it's self-interest for me. I'm not just a fanboy. I want to be able to ask questions to the guy. So I want him around. I wanted him to come on the show. But we had a plan. So I've been chatting with him for weeks about coming and today, and I got the link. And, I'm not, someone's asking, he didn't show up. Yeah, we had plans. I mean, my tweet from yesterday, we've been direct messaging. Let's see, my one from yesterday. Where are we? Tuesday, 9:45 a.m. I will tweet with the URL to come on the show. If it's your first time with Google Hangouts, let anyone know. Go here. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And then I talked about something else with tweeting. Another time I said, here's my questions. Okay, sounds great to me. Looking forward to it. Listen, and maybe people get cold feet, live show. And I understand the whole, who is this guy, right? Who's this Dave Levine guy? It can come off as a little cuckoo here and there. I get it. But again, and for those who are tuning in later, Saifedean says he's got another commitment all of a sudden, and like as I said, I don't want anyone to be mean. Don't message him, oh, you're an asshole. But I do have his Twitter at SAIFEDEAN, and let him know you were interested in what he had to say. DaveLevine.com YouTube show. You wish he came on the show. And let him know you bought the book, you're going to buy the book. He cares about selling the book and getting his message out. Let him know that you were interested, and don't send any, fuck you, Dave's the best. You know what I mean? Let's not be dicks. Okay? So anyways, oh, he is on this Tony Vay's show? Is that true? I'm going to put that on right. Fucking, is that a gold silver guy? I mean, wow. I don't know. Maybe he's got a bigger following. I'm going to go to this Tony Vay's thing right now. Let's see what's happening here. Am I Tony? If anyone has the URL of my competing show, Tony Vay's YouTube. Here we go. If I see him on here live, then I think we should go on this show and say, you should be on Dave. I don't see anything live. If he's on some other live show right now, let me know. I don't know. And listen, he could. I don't want to. It's not like he's a dick. I understand. There's always good explanations for things, but so Tony has more subscribers, 67,000. Still, when did he make the appointment with Tony Vay's? I rescheduled. Like, I don't. I think he said to me when was good, like, I'm flexible. I have no job. This is all I fucking do. I'll do the interview at another time. I mean, let me know. Tells me 2 minutes before the show. Okay, so if you're talking about, someone says he's the worst Bitcoin maximalist. So Bitcoin maximalism, and I was going to ask him about this, because when it comes to money, when it comes to a token being, reserve currency, or a world currency that competes with the dollar and the euro and the yen, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't think anybody else is in the game. I don't think Ethereum's trying to do that. I don't think that Stellar, I don't think, and if anybody else is trying to, maybe Bitcoin Cash is, I don't think they have a chance. When it comes to money, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. But when it comes to crypto economics, I think there's a lot of things going on. Some Bitcoin maximalists are still a little bit in the day of that the only thing in the world is Bitcoin and money is Bitcoin. And so that form of Bitcoin maximalist, and Saifedean is a little, I was going to talk to him about that. Like, he thinks every token is an attack on Bitcoin, to an extent. Well, I don't even know that he believes that. Sometimes I get that vibe. I was going to ask him about it. And hey, Ethereum trying to do this. Why don't you like him? And get to the bottom of it. These are the things. This is why I want to have him on the show, to learn more about, what he believes. And he's a smart guy. And whatever his opinions, and listen, maybe he's right. I don't know. So, but he can come off pretty aggressively. He's an aggressive, Bitcoin maximalist. But there's a lot of those, and I think it's important to understand the point of view of people like that. And so I was interested. Okay, so someone is saying that he is a piece of shit human being. I don't know him as a human being. I mean, if he's a piece of shit, listen, again, I'm looking for the truth. People said Steve Jobs was a fucking asshole, but if I was trying to figure out what's going on with, the technology industry back in the day, and I had an interview with him, I wouldn't be, well, he doesn't have a good relationship with his wife, and he's mean to people in his office. I don't care. It's fucking Steve Jobs. I want to get his opinion, right? So with Saifedean, when it comes to economics and the history of money, he has great insight. If his personal behavior, his personality is not great, I don't really care. Then again, him canceling on me, if that's all part of it, then that would sort of, explain why I got a little screwed up here. I was going to, okay, so this Aris is going on and on. Well, Aris, listen, Aris Ba, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I understand if you hate Saifedean, that's fine, but let him, if you like me, you're not messaging him to like improve him as a human being, or to show even that you like him. But why'd you come to see this show? You wanted to see my insight, or whatever you're here for. If you were just here to fucking troll him, then I guess don't message him. But the reason I want people to tweet Saifedean is that he realizes that my show does matter. It does have impact. There are people who care and wanted to, hear this interview and learn more. And if you bought the book and all that. So again, at Saifedean is his thing. And polite direct messages are asked. Don't say you hate him and all this. And yeah, I guess it would be good for my show if I had him, I think. Although honestly, most people, who the hell knows about him? You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm a big fanboy and everything, but most people don't really know about him. I am not sure that, honestly, I think him coming on the show is better for him than it is for me. I think, because my following is not huge, but the people who follow are fucking all in on me. Like, I don't know. So, okay. Thank you, Arish, for 30 comments. Let's see, what else do we have? What is my Twitter handle? I am Dave Levine 0, the number, com. So that's DAVLEVINE 0, the number, and then COM. So I don't tweet a lot. Every time I post a video, it just goes out on the Twitter. And occasionally, if I'm reading something, I'm like, oh, this is like important, or really like, not even just, oh, that was okay, but like something I think is somewhat important, I'll tweet that. I don't do messages. I don't read the comments. I'm not very involved. But the other value, I think, I like Twitter because it's a great way to follow experts. And in crypto, you know, it's hard to get, you know, if you just read the news, if you read the mainstream news, it's horrible. So I like to listen to experts, and you can subscribe to them on Twitter. So look at who I'm following if you're looking for good people to follow who are pretty on top of things. So I like my list of followers. If you wanted to, you know, copy me on any of those, that's, I think, the best benefit. Okay. Fantastic video. This video is fantastic. What I'm just complaining about my guest not showing up, but I bet he will not apologize. Yeah, listen, I don't care. Oh, this is more of our race. Will you stop tweeting, commenting our race? Bye. I got your opinion. No offense. I love you, but I keep reading, thinking it's something new. XML is looking good. Well, we're at our, you know, we're back at the lows. I mean, I think it's great. Fundamentals on Stellar, nothing's changed. Still great. We're still waiting, though, for these, you know, JED's surprise announcement, a central bank launching its currency on the platform, the Stellar exchange. Where are these things? You know, there's some big announcements that I think would be news that haven't come out yet. So I don't know, but, you know, what's going on in crypto today? When I finish with this small rant, catch up with the comments here, we'll just go through what's happening right now, or just answer your questions. Yes, Ed Gonzalez, it's crappy to cancel last minute. You know, yeah, I think, oh, I got one more message. Okay. Sorry the mix up the dates. I'm embarrassed. I'm already going on Tony Vay's show now. I'll do it again with you. So he says he'll do it. But again, he may be trying to be nice. Like I said, some messages from you guys to him saying you really want, you're sad to miss the show. That would be helpful. So, you know, whatever. Okay. How do you feel about what is nice shirt? Right. I put on a white shirt. God, I'm working hard. Someone said how I'm really prepared. I put on a nice shirt. Okay, so what is this? Okay, our race, you're chatting. Okay. So let's see. We got 34 people. So what am I going to do now? Yeah, I'm prepared. I want to ask him these questions. I guess we can watch Tony Vay's show and troll it. I think this is it right here. I'm actually not going to do that. Let's just look at what's going on with crypto right now. People love that endlessly. Let's go to I'll share. I'm going to share the screen, I think. Someone says go on Stellar Term. You know, that's there's no white shirts in crypto. You know, I wanted to look like I'm sort of professional a little bit, right? I don't know what shirt is right for me. I don't have a media consultant. Someone says go on Stellar Term right now, which Stellar Term I know is a decentralized exchange, but it's incredibly unuser friendly. Stellar was going to come out with their own decentralized exchange that is user friendly. This looks like the same old one. This is not. Jed was talking about. Remember, he created the first Bitcoin exchange ever. Became the biggest in the world. The guy knows something about exchanges. Decentralized exchange is built into the Stellar protocol. So he's got the tools, he's got the know-how. I would think that when he comes out with a, you know, upgraded trading platform, it would be really good. I don't think this Stellar Term, if Stellar Term's been upgraded, I'm not seeing it just by looking at it. And there's been no announcement about it. If this is the big deal about the new Stellar, you know, I think this was supposed to be upgraded. If this is an upgrade, I don't know. Not that excited. So yeah, let's just go through some coins. I wonder if I share my screen, then you can't see me, which I know everybody loves to look at me, right? Just kidding. Oh, I think you can. No, that doesn't work. Maybe what I'm going to do is just go through it. I'll look at it to remind me. So we got Bitcoin. You know, the battle is on. I think 6,000 being the floor. Each time, we've seen 3 falls since January, right? Beginning of February, beginning of April, and then now was mid-June. we've had these plummets. Bitcoin each time has bounced. I think the first time was like 5,800, the second day, all, let's just say 6,000. I think slightly below 6,000 each time, but about 6,000. And again, so far we've held, but the game is still on here where we haven't sort of rallied out of it yet. Bitcoin is holding that line. I thought when January I made predictions that 5,000 was going to be the line and we would fall below it a few times. I also thought it would go lower under the 5,000, but not that much lower. But it hasn't even gone that much lower than 6,000. So it's been holding up better than I expected, but the game ain't over yet. So who knows? But so far, you know, I'm thinking the 6 seems to be holding. And then, so let's go next. And Ethereum also was not at it. Ethereum had a low of 390. And I got to tell you, I was buying a little more Ethereum at the time. I fucking nailed that. I got a little bit more at 390 a few months ago. Again, time will tell how brilliant that is, but I might have picked the bottom, which is always fun. So those are holding up, and you know, the shit coins. I'm going to talk about Neo for a second because I'm sort of dying to make a video about it. So, you know, Neo is not, originally it launched just like, okay, it's not decentralized. And people are like, well, it's going to be decentralized. And now I think we can pretty definitively say it's not going to be decentralized. They're letting companies set up more nodes, but to set up a node, you have to fill out an application, forward it to the central authority, who has you sign a contract regarding running your node. Okay, that's not decentralized. It's centralized. And Neo, first of all, if something is not decentralized, it's not, regarding this stuff, it's not interesting. If you want a centralized company that's awesome, buy Google stock. I mean, they're great, right? This is not. Or if you want someone who's good at raising money, I don't know, there might be a good venture capital fund. What this Neo thing, I think it's just a money raise show. And so for me, that's the barometer. To me, that's the king of the shit coins because I consider it to be not real. And then it's a platform for more coins that aren't real. Now, people have said to me, you know, there's other things that have raised money on Neo. It's possible that a real platform that like is actually good, has good plans, is building their own thing that's real, but they raised money on Neo. And so just because they raised money on Neo doesn't necessarily mean the project is a complete disaster. If they're building their project on Neo, then I would definitely say it's ridiculous. But if they're just using Neo to raise money, you know, maybe that's something. But to me, if you choose to associate with that crowd, that's sort of a red flag in and of itself. So I would be very careful with anything associated with Neo. So I watch that, to me, as my main barometer of the shitcoin category. And we are now, as opposed to, you know, where I mentioned Bitcoin has bounced 3 times, Neo has been the opposite. Neo, you know, the first bounce in February was 82. The second bounce in April was 45. And we're now at 30. So on each of the falls, Neo keeps going lower and lower. And, you know, I used to say, well, I don't even think Neo will go to 0 because they're so good at raising money. But at the same time, people who are good at raising money, when they see the party's over, they get the fuck out of there. That thing could actually go to 0 in a second if the people running it realize the gig is up. And then they're just going to pull the rug out. So I love watching Neo, especially when it's going down. And yeah, so I watched that, and I think IOTA, and IOTA's another one for me, which I think is a flagship shitcoin. And let's look at how that did. So again, on the falls, on the February low, they hit $1.40. On the April, they hit 93, and we're at 98. So we're actually, it's flat. It hasn't fallen a second leg down. So that one is sort of holding up. And then let's talk about EOS. Boy, has that been fun. Is it not fun watching the EOS news? I gotta say. I mean, we'll get to that in a second, but let's just see. Only good thing about NEOs is support from the Chinese government. That is one of the reasons NEO's bad is that phony narrative. Okay, that's not true. They don't have support for that. Is Da Hongfei, who's great at raising money, keeps keeping this rumor alive. Like he has, you know, the quote from Da Hongfei is, well, we don't have a deal with the Chinese government, but I don't know, maybe they would work with us. Why wouldn't they? People are like, oh my God, they have a deal with the government. There's no deal. That's a bunch of pump fake news. What are your thoughts? Okay, so Tron, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Someone said, yes, Thomas A.V. Saifedean is a rock star. Yes, and for anyone tuning in late, Saifedean is off with Tony Bays, who has more followers than me, talking about gold and silver. Lame. But anyways, please feel free to message him. Nothing rude. No, fuck you. I love Dave. At Saifedean, Saifedean on Twitter. Direct message. Hey, love to see you on Dave's show. That would be great. Let him know. Okay. People thinking 3,000 for Bitcoin. I got to tell you, well, you know, during the boom in December, you couldn't. Nobody was predicting it would go down. Everyone, oh, higher, higher, higher. Now everybody's saying. I mean, someone's saying, oh, I wish, oh, Bitcoin to 3,000. I hardly hear that anymore. Now it's everybody's like, oh, I hope it goes to 5,000. I hope it goes to 5,000. I'm going to buy at 5,000. I'm going to load up at 5,000. I hear so much of that. It makes me think it's not going to happen, right? And that's why I think a couple days ago it hit 5,800 for about 30 minutes. I think there's enough people wait. Oh my God, it's at the 5,000. They bought. So I don't know. Who knows? But 3,000 at this point. Listen, I said probably 3,000 in January, but at this point, I don't know how you're still hanging on to that. Who knows? But, you know, we'll see. So, and potential, that would be a fast comeback. You know, I just did a video on the, if you look at my thing on the past, I think it was the last video. I looked at the stats on the past boom bust cycles. For Bitcoin, it's usually within a year, it would boom, bust, and go back to the next boom in a year. The last one after Mt. Gox, that was a 4-year peak-to-peak show. But that was because the industry was like obliterated. The biggest exchange down, people going to jail. It was a friggin' disaster. So that's why it took a long time. Right now, the industry is healthy. I don't know. I said in January it would be 3 to 6 months, the downturn. Now, if we hit our low a couple days ago, I've got the 3 to 6 months. I think I've got till mid-July to be right on the 3 to 6 month call. Maybe we've already hit the low and I'm right. Maybe not. I mean, I don't care, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, and gold looks bearish. The story in gold, Dow is the same as one of the stories of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's way better. Whatever you love gold for, scarcity and money and all this, Bitcoin's much better. We'll save that for when and if Saifedean comes on the show. Commodities are a good option if the market crashes. Why? I mean, you know, if the market crashes, demand is lower, not good for commodities. You know, the liquidity is lower, not good for commodities. Whenever there's a crash, commodities usually crash along with it. So I'm not sure why J. Co thinks that. Okay, EOS. So let's get to EOS. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know if you follow on Twitter. You can go. Hold on, I have a notification here. Just seeing if there's anything. Okay, Saifedean says he'll come next time. It was a mix-up. Whatever. I don't care. You think I care? I don't care. It's so funny that he thinks I care. Okay, so I go on Twitter and I search EOS. Oops. So we had a few incidents, and there's like every day there's a new one that's just, to me, is hilarious. Because again, I'm all into this because of decentralization. I've always been like into things that are decentralized, in that they grow faster and become bigger than similar things that are centralized. And that's my fetish. So, you know, with EOS, you know, and with any project, has it launched, and then is it decentralized? Because Launching is hard enough, but being decentralized is even harder. So a lot of things launch, everyone's all excited. It's like, well, it's not decentralized yet. And I know we have debates like how decentralized is enough, and is Ethereum. I think Ethereum is decentralized, but some people say, well, not really because of this and that. And then there's others that are closer. But anyway, so EOS, is it decentralized? So they have, I think the funniest one was this. They blocked 27 block producers. They sent a notice to 27 block producers. You have to stop, from central command. They sent a letter, like I think it's a PDF, and it's funny, it's signed by whoever's in charge of this central command with his signature, like written by hand signature. And people are joking, oh, EOS has come up with a new signature system, like Bitcoin's working on Schnorr signatures or whatever latest technology. EOS is using analog and then they PDF the signature. That's like kind of funny. And so there's a central command sending orders to the block producers on what to do. And I understand this is all part of what they're doing and they have this constitution, but I don't know, it's hard to look at it as decentralized when these things are happening. And then one of the block producers, apparently, he was busy, didn't even get the message. And so he didn't block what he was supposed to block. And they're like, we're going to sue you. I mean, that just came out today, and maybe it's not true, but it looks like it's true. I thought that was funny. What else? There was another thing that happened too. When it was shut down, and then the block producers had to have a meeting. Again, these things are all sort of normal. It's like, I don't know. I'm not against centralization. Like if you want a cool centralized company that can make a lot of money, buy Google stock. They're great, right? I don't know. There's a lot of things out there. But if you're into crypto, I think it's because it's about the decentralization, at least for me. EOS, they ain't decentralized yet. And the thing looks pretty messy to me. I think, and this is sort of what I predicted before, was that EOS is like, before it launches, it's like, oh, it's to the moon. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's faster than Ethereum and all this crap. Then it launches, and then we find out that it's not so easy. Again, I'm not against EOS, and maybe 3 or 4 years from now, we find out, oh, it kind of works. It's messy, like democracy. Well, it's messy, but it sort of works. And because they have this messy constitutional thing, it actually is, it's different than a Google or Amazon for some reason. But it doesn't have, it's different than Ethereum, and it has some niche, and then you find that. But I think that happens after a few years. I mean, and so now we're in the messy period. It's like all the dreamers, I think, are sort of, dealing with bad news every day, because it's all like, oh, it's actually hard work and hard decisions and constitutional bullshit, and we're getting lawsuits and stupid things, and a lot of negative news coming out. And it's not even negative. It's just the reality. I used to have I ran an e-commerce business for 20 years. We'd always have an idea, and we don't work on a project because we think it's going to suck. We're excited. Oh my God, we're going to launch this, and it's going to be awesome. And then you launch it, and maybe customers don't care like you thought they would, or something breaks. We forgot this was connected to that, and then you got to fix it, and then something else happens. And after launch, it's not fun anymore, because now you're fucking working and you're dealing with reality. So much easier to dream before you launch. And so now EOS is in the thick of, but this is true with all companies. Tesla is like coming out with Model 3. Even Elon Musk said going into it, oh, we're going to go into manufacturing hell because it's the first time you're doing it. It's no longer fun. First it was Model 3, going to be cheap. It's going to be fat. All these things. It's going to be awesome. And then you get into producing it, and there's all these problems you deal with. A few years from now, it's all cranking along, and it's as great as the original theme if it worked. But right now we're in a tough period. So in EOS, with the valuation to the moon already, I'm not optimistic about the price of EOS in the short run. All right, let's see if we have any new comments here. Did you know that EOS, there's something about EOS block producers making $10,000 a day? Maybe, I don't know. Again, it's one of these things. It's like, listen, when Bitcoin first launched, and never mind first launch, I saw it after 5 years. I was like, okay, it's decentralized. Actually, first time I saw it, I said, yeah, I don't know. What is this? And who's using it? Like, it was very like, I don't get it. And then later I saw, okay, no one's really using it, but it's decentralized money. Then I was like, okay, but when it first came out, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how does that work? And why is that good? And miners, and is that, I don't, it's like a lot of questions. Time answers a lot of questions. And so with EOS, 21 block producers, and then you got to pay them a fair amount, because not only are they, it's one thing to be a block producer, but what I was more concerned about is they have like 100, like, because if you kick one out, another one has to come in. Who runs a friggin' data center just as a backup that maybe someday I'll actually get paid for being in this data center? So the reward has to be big, so because I'm less worried about the 21, whatever, they're getting paid, they have a job, and great. But what about number 22 and 23 and 24? What the fuck are you doing sitting there with computers fully up to date, ready to go on a moment's notice for nothing? Why would you do that? Because the reward is big. So maybe that makes sense. I don't know. Coming back, smart money is on holiday. Yeah, I think it's not about smart money, dumb money, and people leaving and coming back. Each wave is a different level of adoption. The last wave in crypto was individuals, like maybe you and I watching this video, and also home offices, they call them, these wealthy families, and they have money to invest, and they're sort of not regulated like a pension fund cannot put money in something unless they get 92 stamps from a bunch of regulators and all these things, and the board members and all this. Family office, they got money, like, yeah, let's throw some money. So that was the last wave. Those people made some money. Some of them are hodlers. Some of them bailed. That's the selling we've seen. Maybe they come back. I don't know. But the next wave is a different group of people. And I think the next wave are more institutional clients. So Goldman Sachs has clients who want crypto. Once they get their custodian issue, they're Goldman Sachs clients, JP Morgan clients, New York Stock Exchange clients, if they, I don't know, I know they're working on these Wall Street big institutions having ways to invest in crypto for their clients. That's the next wave. So when does that start? It's once the approvals come in, they are starting to come in, meaning once it's regulated and they know it's legal. And most of those check boxes have come in. There's some more for some companies. And that's one of those things too, that once it starts and then you get the FOMO. Last year we had FOMO on all of us individuals, and maybe we will get into that again. But the next FOMO, I think, is Wall Street. And when does that start? I mean, who knows? But I don't think it's going to take more than a year. And people say, by the end of this year, could be. I don't see why not. But, don't bet on price movements. Just you hold what you hold. If you have more to put in, you put it in over time, but don't bet on what's the low and I'm going to buy at that low that I'm betting. Assume that you have no fucking clue what's going to happen with prices and invest based on that. Other than, when people ask me, what's the price going to be in 5 years from now? My answer was, someone just commented, what's Stellar going to be in 5 years? It's going to be higher than it is today. And, it's going to be in 5 years. I don't remember. I had some wise ass answer. The point is, in 5 years, I think it's going to be higher than today. I don't know exactly what price, but with over 5 years, hopefully you believe the thing is going to be a more valuable thing to society than it is now, and therefore be priced higher. Beyond that, I don't think you can get specific with price predictions. So, okay. I don't know how to get rid of my shitcoins. That's the other thing. I think I heard someone else saying this. Thank God I made my shitcoin trades. I shouldn't even say shitcoins. And also, honestly, I had Stellar. I had a little too much. I wanted to get more into Bitcoin. I sort of did whatever I needed to do back in January. If you're stuck right now, stuff is down a lot. But I think, it's one thing if you have, like, I'm still holding my stupid OMG that I, wish I sold it when it was at 19 or traded it into Bitcoin. I didn't. That one, I think eventually, I'm hoping it'll come back. But if you have stuff that you just don't believe in anymore, I think you gotta just bite the bullet and get it into Bitcoin, because I feel like my prediction, again, these fucking predictions, take them for what they're worth, which is not much. But I think what I look for is, when is Bitcoin going up and the rest of the market's going down? It's getting better now. Like today, right now, Bitcoin's down 1.5%, and the rest of the market looks like it's down 4 and 5%. Whereas a few weeks ago, it was more like Bitcoin would be down 3% and the market down 4 or 5%. So it's getting a little bit. It definitely doesn't go down as fast, but I want to see Bitcoin start going up and the rest of the market's going down. And then I think the other thing I talked about, the next wave, is institutional money. Institutions are not putting their money. I don't care if Tron is going to be awesome. And honestly, well, Stellar actually got some approval, so maybe some people put their money in that. But what's it called? OMG. Okay, let's say you think it's great. No Goldman Sachs clients putting this shit in the OMG right now, just because it's not regulated. They don't have the approvals for that. It's not like as far as Goldman Sachs is concerned, it's not legal, or it's unclear. Bitcoin is clear and it's legal and it's safe and there's check marks. So the next run is going to be on Bitcoin, and I think we're going to see a giant sucking sound from all the shit coins flowing into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin runs. And then maybe as that run keeps going, stuff filters down again to ones that survived. But I think, it's tough here if you start making that transition. You may hope. We're at a low right now, so maybe there's going to be another wave up like we just saw. Remember, it touched about these lows. Bitcoin was at 6,000 at the beginning of April, went all the way up to 9,500, and all the shit coins went up even higher. And then here we are, we're back down. So maybe there's going to be another wave up, and that would be the next time to do that trade. And you may want to think, well, do a little bit now because you're like freaking out that you're stuck in too much shit, and hope there's one more rally up, and then you do your trade. Again, the best way with if you need to change your positions is you dollar cost average. Do a little now, do a little in 30 days, another, in 60 days, and then over time you get to where you want to be. So Tron. Someone asked about Tron. So Tron is, I guess they're launching, or they launched, the mainnet launched. For me, again, is I'm going to look into, once it's launched, it's like, how far is it from actually being decentralized? And I don't know. I can't seem to figure out what the fuck Tron is, to be quite honest with you. Someone was telling me it's about a platform for like music artists, and they were talking about, I was like, well, that's a cool idea. Like, I think someday a cool application would be like some sort of decentralized thing that you could take a song and sort of encode it and just throw it out there and put a price on it, and a decentralized thing where anyone can then pay to whatever it is, download it or listen to it, and there's no middleman, like something like, and then also promoters could have a thing, and they could even have it coded in the song that if you build a website, if you promote the song, you would get a piece of the sales, like automatically built in the protocol. Like, started fantasizing about this business model. I think that could be awesome. Is Tron actually working on that? I don't know, but I read about it, and it's like, they're competing with Ethereum. Like, Tron says they're competing with Ethereum. No, like, we're the next music thing. So, fuck are they? And anybody who says that they're trying to be an Ethereum killer, to me, is just insane. It's just, I don't. If I was trying to be an Ethereum killer, I would keep that to myself. We're doing this, and then we're going to do this. We think we have a good future, and these are the things we're doing, and Ethereum's wonderful. And someday, if you start like getting within the same universe as Ethereum, you can start talking about how, they better watch out. We're a competitor. But to say that out of the gate, I think this Justin Sun is, I don't know. I have very little information, but if I had a guess from the little info I said, he seems a little, he's a young kid, and I used to be there. You think you fucking know it all, and, you're going to take over the world, and you learn that, there's other smart people out there, and some things that seem easy turns out, oops, not so easy. So we'll see. But Tron, again, if it just launched, is it launched? Is it decentralized? Maybe we'll get that answer about decentralization soon. And then I look at adoption rates. If it's amazing, I mean, this Justin Sun, he's amazing. We'll see. But the accusations of and he's got Vitalik Buterin calling him on plagiary. Is that the right word? Copying other people's shit. That's that's a red flag, right? I wouldn't bet on something that hasn't launched when you get that going on. And he's, yeah, someone says the biggest hyper. He's good at hyping, boy. It's like he went to the school created by what's his name from Alibaba, Jack Ma, and he's like, you know, he's my mentor, like as if, you know, they're working together, and it's like, you know, okay. Buy more shitcoin to get rid of them, Anton. Buy more. No. Yeah, make sure. I really think you should have 50% Bitcoin. That's. I think until you get, once you have 50% Bitcoin, and you want to put more money in, you can start talking about other things. And when I say 50%, meaning, so let's say you want to have $10,000 in cryptocurrency. So then you figure out, well, what percentages do I want? 50% Bitcoin. So you say, okay, so I'm going to get 5,000 in Bitcoin, and then I got 5,000 left. So I'm going to buy some Ethereum, Stellar. And you want shitcoin ABC. Great. So now today I'm buying. Until Bitcoin hits $5,000, your 50% mark, only buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin runs first. As I've said and been right on the whole way down, Bitcoin's falling less than the other coins. Start with Bitcoin. The backup block producers get paid. Okay, I didn't know that. That was for EOS. Like, why would you be a backup? And, you know, so I don't know. I don't know much about, you know, I don't feel that we need to be the first. Like I've said this before too. It's most important to be right, not to be first, right? This one, something about being late is a problem. I get that, but we are very far from any of this being late. Right now, everything is early. You're early even in Bitcoin. If the story is true, it's still early. Money, read about the history of money. Money stories play out over decades, if not centuries. So, you know, if it's right, don't worry about it. Ethereum too, it's early. They don't even have any applications on it. They're still building the foundation to build applications, which are supposed to be the story. So we're early. Don't worry about early. Worry about, is it right in 5 years from now? Is it still going to be awesome? And if it's living on hype, hype doesn't work for 5 years. Reality works in 5 years. So I don't know what question I was referring to here, but let's see what we got here. So, now what happened? Where was I? Institutions will put their money. The reason institutions will put their money in Bitcoin is a few reasons. One, 10 years track record proves that this new weird thing that none of the institutions understand actually works. I understand there's been hacks at exchanges, but Bitcoin itself hasn't been hacked. That's one reason. EOS doesn't have 10 years experience, okay? And these institutions, because it's got this promise, it's a promise. When they hold the promise for 10 years, then people will pay attention. Number two, the SEC said this is not a security, it's a commodity. People know what it is, know which legal things they have to deal with. EOS doesn't have any ruling like that. And then institutions, they don't buy a fucking Nano S or Trezor and put it on that. They outsource to a company who custodian holds millions of dollars in coins. Not only do they have to trust that company that they can do it, but that organization that holds their tokens needs to be also approved by some regulatory agency. And so EOS doesn't have any of that. Now, I'm not saying some funds, and sort of like what we saw last year, family offices and some people who want to invest money, maybe some even people with decent amounts of money, put their money into EOS, wonderful. But the next wave of real institutional money, not going to EOS until they get all those approvals. Sorry. Okay, I guess I'm way behind in my, let's see, one backup BP of the third racks. Okay, it's more. Someone again. So with Saifedean, yeah, he schedule mix-up of some kind. He's on Tony Vay's show, which, yeah, probably boring. Again, if you like me, if you want to help me, I want to be able to ask him questions. I'm not saying Saifedean is the greatest human. I'm not saying I agree with everything. We're going to have an interview. But if you could tweet him at Saifedean, let him know. Again, don't be an asshole. Oh, fuck you, and go on Dave's show. Say, hey, I wanted to see you on Dave's show. I wanted that insight. And mention anything about the book. I'm going to buy the book. I want to buy the book. I'll watch the show and then maybe buy, because he's trying to sell his book and he wants people to be interested in the topic. And that's what this is about. Please don't send angry messages. But if you let him know that there's an audience here that cares, he'll come on. He already messaged me. He said, sorry, I'm going to come on. We'll do it again. We'll see. I'm an easygoing guy. I don't give a shit. 90% of these viewers are here to sell next week. I don't know what that means. If the top 3 mining pool operators, yeah, I don't know that much about this topic, but it's something like the pools, I don't think they control, per se, all of their miners. I don't think that any mining can take over Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's my understanding. I'm not informed enough to really debate it. But make sure, check your source of where you're getting your information from always. And if you're reading an article in the news, look up the author and see who they are, right? And I don't even listen. Listen, if you're a journalist, are you really an expert on fucking Bitcoin or Ethereum? And you're a journalist full time? I don't see how that's possible. Talk to, follow people. That's why I like Twitter. And I mentioned my Twitter, Dave Levine, and the number 0com. Look at who I follow. I try to only follow experts. I'm not saying I know all the experts. If you know a better expert you think I should follow, let me know. Follow your own, but you can use mine to help you find good experts to follow. So my Ethereum Classic, Ethereum Classic to me is just, it's silly. You've got Ethereum with an all-star team. Listen, if you don't think Ethereum's going to win or not, I don't know, but you've got Vitalik Buterin, Vlad Zamfir, Joseph Poon. These guys are fucking smart, and there's more. A-Team. Who's on Ethereum Classic? You had 10% that left. I don't know. Who are they? They're way behind Ethereum as far as development goes. On a similar path. I don't see. And then Coinbase put them in. And when I talk to everybody, people who I think are experts are always like, why did Coinbase take Ethereum, put in Ethereum Classic of all coins? People are just like, oh my God. Like, I mean, unless they got some secret plan up their sleeve that we are not seeing, everybody's like, sort of like, feel like Coinbase is stupid now. Like what? And the best theory I have on that is simply that they're so regulated that Ethereum Classic is one of the few things that they could say, well, it's definitely legal. Because if Ethereum is not a security, Ethereum Classic is not a security. And the other thing is, because of all the regulations, Coinbase can't do anything without getting so many fucking signatures and stamps. Ethereum Classic is like almost Ethereum, and so the development of it is easy because it's just there. Plus, people are saying, well, from the fork, they already own a ton of it because they were in Ethereum early, so they own a ton of it that they now can sort of, they make money on that. So those are sort of all very lame reasons and makes Coinbase, I think, less cool. Unless they got some other reason I'm not missing. But I still wouldn't buy Ethereum Classic. When they announced it, I was like, holy shit, and it wasn't even up much. Thought it should have gone up more, and I think it's sort of gone up since then. I made a video that day. I remember saying that. Let's just look at it here. Oh, I'm not sharing screen, so give me 1 second. I'm looking at it. Yeah, so the announcement came out. That must have been like June 11th. It shot up back to where it was and then came all the way back down to 13. I was like, geez, I thought it would have gone up a lot more from that announcement. And now it's up to 15. It had a high of 17 a few days ago. But you would think being added to Coinbase would sort of enlarge its ecosystem. But I still have the problem of what the fuck is Ethereum Classic's purpose? You know, Bitcoin Cash is another fork I think is silly, but at least I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to be what Bitcoin's trying to do, but only on-chain scaling, which I think is a failed, is a strategy that will fail. I think the excitement and the success of scaling will come in the second layer solutions that we're seeing on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. On-chain scaling happens. It's fine. I'm not against it, especially Ethereum's doing sharding, which technically is on-chain scaling. And that looks like that's pretty cool too. But Bitcoin Cash is not working on sharding. They're all, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get more into it, but I just think Bitcoin Cash's strategy has failed. Ethereum Classic is like, what are they even doing? I mean, I'm sure they're doing something, but I'm not aware of it. If someone knows something really cool that Ethereum Classic is doing that someone else isn't, let me know. But yeah. The problem, and so one thing, you know, people talk about, I think with someone made a comment, this is why the bear market is long, because, you know, the when Lambo, the stupid people who got in are sort of still in the market, possibly. But I don't think this is a traditional market in that it's sort of the same players getting in and out. This is you know, the people who got in this last wave, and some of them are very unsophisticated, okay, right? And maybe then they're going to bail out or whatever. But whether or not they bail or not, the next wave, I don't think is that same group. It's a new group. So I don't think we need to see total capitulation from all idiots, because some idiots may get lucky and not capitulate, or literally forgot about it and didn't lose the coins, and the next wave starts and they get lucky. I mean, it's possible. So I don't, you know, but I'm also seeing that we'll see what happens. I mean, there's something to be said for thinking that in the long run, you know, people have no clue, end up not making money, and somehow that seems to work out, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not waiting for, I think it, like I said, it's more about Wall Street moving in than it is about all the when Lambo people moving out. So let's see. Tron is full of bag holders. By the way, if you own anything and you call it carrying a bag, you should sell it. Like someone like, I love Stellar. Someone's like, yeah, I still have my Stellar bags. Like, if you call it a bag, like, it's not a bag, right? It's an investment, it's a platform. You should sort of be in love with the thing, so that when it's down, you're not crying. You're not carrying bags. When you're buying shit, you're just trading, and it's when Moon Lambo only, then yeah, I guess it's a bag when it's down. But don't own anything that you call a fucking bag. Uh-oh. Sometimes my comments skip and I get lost. Don't speculate, accumulate. Love your videos. Thank you. Okay, Dan Larimer. Dan Larimer's been in the space for a long time, but it's not about being in it for a long time. It's being the best. It's being awesome, you know. And listen, time will tell. I'm not calling EOS out of the game. But Steemit and BitShares, they're not like, BitShares is not like the best exchange. Steemit is not the greatest, whatever you call the thing, you know, article platform. Medium is much better than Steemit. I mean, it's not, those things haven't changed the world, haven't been amazing. Hey, maybe EOS will, but I don't just look at Dan Larimer. The reason, now I said different about Jed McCaleb, he made a file sharing system years ago, became one of the biggest in the world. He made a Bitcoin exchange, the first Bitcoin exchange, became the biggest in the world, had 80% of the volume, created Ripple, became like one of the biggest cryptocurrencies in the world. So his track record, he didn't just do shit. He's not just, well, he's been around since. He's created things that became the biggest in the world. So he's going to create something new. Like, hey, maybe he's going to create another, the biggest in the world. He has that track record. So Dan Larimer's track record, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying he's unqualified, and I'm not saying EOS doesn't turn out to create some value in the world. But so far, his record is that he creates stuff that's sort of like, it's okay. I don't know. It's still here. He's been around, but that's not, I'm not looking for been around. EOS the next BitConnect. It is not BitConnect. BitConnect was an obvious scam from day one. It was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme scam. And people are like, oh, EOS is a scam. It's not a scam. Like these people believe that it's a unique way of consensus, consensus by PDF. They send out their little PDF. Their signature system is by writing it on hand and then converting it into PDF and emailing to people. It's their consensus algorithm. It's great. And listen, maybe they think this is, I think the people involved think that what they're building is going to work and is better, is going to, they believe in it. They may fail. There's a difference between a scam that fails and a bad idea that fails. If someone goes, how many people have you heard of? They went and they opened a restaurant, and within 6 months it failed, and all the investors lost all their money. Was it a scam? Maybe if they just stole the money, but usually it's because it turns out it's hard to run a restaurant, right? So everything that fails is not a scam, and EOS I don't think it's a scam. If it fails because it's an idea that didn't work. And Verge, so these coins that come under attack, and our Verge is one of them. It was attacked and money stolen from the coin. This is different than like Bitcoin. People steal Bitcoin from an exchange. No one hacked Bitcoin and printed Bitcoins as a hack or stole them from people or something like that. That's never happened. Verge, the coin itself, this wasn't just stolen from an exchange. The coin itself was compromised. And people are like, well, now they learned and they're going to fix it. Why the hell would you own anything that was compromised? To me, I would run. Hey, if you like it, keep your eye on it. 3 years from now, there's no more problems. Fine. But that and there's other ones. Was it Bitcoin Gold? I don't know. There were like several coins came under attack, successfully attacked and stolen from. Like, why would you continue to own that? Why? I asked. Now, an interesting thing I've mentioned before, Phil Potter, who was a chief strategy officer at Bitfinex. I talked to him occasionally. I asked him about what, I think I specifically even said Verge, like, why is this thing not at zero already? And he's like, because people aren't on leverage, and some people are unsophisticated, so it doesn't go down that fast. It just is a slow bleed. And I was like, oh, okay, because in traditional markets, things are on leverage, and there's a lot of leverage in the system. And so when something goes down, then there are margin calls, and it fucking plummets. So Verge, I don't know. Let's see what it is now. Why does this thing hang out? But another thing related to Phil Potter from Bitfinex, he left. Might just be, what he said, to take it at face value, what I read in the news. So Verge, it's at all-time lows. And to reference what I said before, how there have been 3 drops, Bitcoin each time, February, April, June, hit 6,000 and bounced. Verge, I think shitcoins going to zero, might be following this pattern if I had to make a bet. So it bounced off point. There's a lot of zeros and then a 7. And then in April, Verge is not even following the pattern of Bitcoin and a lot of other coins of having a few lows and a low and a bounce, a low and a bounce, a low and a bounce. Verge is just going like this. There's no, which it should. Why would you own that, especially after it's already been successfully attacked? Like crazy. So anyways, yeah, Phil Potter left Bitfinex. He says it's like, listen, that Bitfinex, it's controversial. They're not trying to be regulated in the U.S. and they're going further in a direction of just ignore the U.S. And Phil Potter lives in New York City, so he might have started getting uncomfortable. That was one reason, though, that I said, don't worry about Bitfinex. They're not going to be too crazy because Phil Potter, who's top guy in the company, lives in New York City. If it gets too crazy, he'll go to jail. So now he left. I don't know that means they're getting too crazy, but he could be getting a lot of heat and a lot of who needs it. And he's probably made a lot of money, and maybe he has new ideas. Who knows? hopefully I'll talk to him soon and find out the real deal. And, you know, like I said, I still believe Tether is not a scam until proven otherwise, I guess. But I don't, of all the things to do with scam, I think that's like would be stupid and too easy to get caught. And for what value? Why would that be a scam? So I don't bet it is. I'm reading a comment here. Yeah. So every transaction is in EOS. This is someone's comment. Okay. Scott Schechter. Every transaction is a legally binding signed contract subject to arbitration and dispute resolution. A smart contract bug destroys your funds. On EOS, you can recover. Well, one of the benefits of Bitcoin is that all transactions are final. You have final settlement. Finality is a big thing, and Ethereum has the same thing. Finality. Yeah, if there's a bug, finality is something bad, but that's an advantage, and that's something that if you're an investor, you want to know what you have. You want to know it's irreversible. You want to know that there aren't going to be more coins. You know, you want that's an attraction. That's one of the main attractions to me is finality, and you don't have that in EOS. So again, I mean, but most things in the world don't have finality. Most agreements between people, there's a third party who has judged to reverse things. They're able to reverse things. Well, even if it's just on YouTube, I was just reading today, you know, people are upset because YouTube changes their policy and something with subscribers and now they're making less money. Like they're at the whim of YouTube. Imagine if the deal was, you know, you put on a video and each viewer, you get one token. There's only so many tokens and it's like written in stone and it can't be changed. You can trust that and you can invest more. You can't trust third parties. So you have to trust EOS. You may think that's an advantage, but that's what's everywhere, and you have to trust that EOS is a good organization, is going to make good decisions, is going to reverse things, and blah, blah, blah. And it also, talk about their whole thing with speed. I mean, I think you kind of slow things down when everything's subject to arbitration. So anyways, if Bitcoin being hacked, you know, I'm not sure about that. I thought I heard someone say there was something maybe at the very beginning. I'm not sure about that. But again, if something happened, you know, now Bitcoin's 10 years old. If something happened in the first year, okay. But I wasn't a buyer in the first year. I mean, you know, exactly. Who was, right? And if you were, what was the valuation? Nothing. It wasn't billions. So, you know, that was different. And that made sense. Now, Bitcoin can't be hacked. I think we're going to be pretty secure about that. And therefore, it has the valuation. So don't give something that is being hacked a high valuation. Say, well, Bitcoin was hacked. I mean, you're not comparing apples to apples. Plus, this is not a race like, okay, we're just going to, you know, if you're having how fast can you run a mile? If you run the fastest mile in the world, doesn't matter if you do it today, tomorrow, or the next day. It just, you know, you run the fastest mile. This is different. It's an ongoing race, and the person who's in the lead doesn't have to go back to a starting line. You just keep running, right? So let's say Ethereum has a 4-year head start of EOS, and let's say EOS is running a little bit faster. It doesn't matter. They still have to catch Ethereum, who's been running around the fucking track a bunch of times, is actually a fast runner. So EOS does not only has to be a faster runner than Ethereum, and can't afford to make the same mistakes that Ethereum made at the beginning. Verge can't afford to make the mistakes that Bitcoin made at the beginning when nobody was looking and was the first one and had no valuation. It's a different day. And this race is on, it's a marathon. I mean, you could let's call it a marathon. I mean, let's say it's only 26 years, but it's more like 260 years. And whoever started, if you started the marathon and you started a long time before someone else starts, and that person, let's say it's a marathon, and the person who started, and they went and they fell in the first mile and got back up, great. They're still in the lead because they started it way before you. Now you're running. You can't afford to fall down because you got to catch the one who started way before you. Bitcoin has never been down. Get your facts straight. That's, I think, true. But still, Bitcoin could have been rusty at the beginning, but it's a different story. Ethereum has been compromised. I mean, what do you mean by that? I'm not sure what that means. I'm not familiar with that. Uh, and this Steam has been successful. Most transactions. I don't know who cares. Most transactions. When I think of what adds value to my life, I like that Bitcoin. I feel like I have a store of value that's not affected by the fractional reserve banking system. If the current banking system collapses, I still got my Bitcoins. I'm not going to be deleted. New technology, like it adds value to my life, and I see how it adds value to other people's lives. Steam. I look for news articles. Occasionally, I read an article and it's on Steam, but very rarely. Usually, it seems Medium has a lot of cool articles. That has added value to my life. I don't care how many transactions Medium or Steam has. I understand that number of transactions is the statistics we look at to see the growth, but also then it comes down to, well, value of transactions. Sending $1 million to somebody else in a second is one transaction with a lot of value. Hitting like on an article that sucks has value, I guess, a little bit, but certainly not as much as that other transaction. So that statistic is not that interesting to me. Oh my God. So someone says to me, and okay, what do you think of Turnio? This is Louis Padilla. They make 1 million transactions per second. So first of all, this is probably a white paper that says we do 1 million transactions per second. And what they mean is someday when we launch, we think we're going to be able to do 1 million transactions per second. What they also might be saying is we can do 1 million transactions per second, but by the way, we're really not going to be decentralized. Or we're going to be, by the time we're decentralized, if everything works out, someday we think it's going to be able to do 1 million transactions per second. But by the way, I don't know if you just heard the Vitalik Buterin that when they finish sharding and with plasma, they'll be doing 1 million transactions per second too. And by the way, they have a huge community and lots of people investing it. So which one are you going to get? So if Turnio is launched and decentralized, and also 1 million transactions a second, doing what? Like, do you even need 1 million transactions per second, right? Uber does, what does it do? Like, I don't know, 20 transactions a second. Okay, so if you had 100 Ubers, what is that? 2,000 transactions per second. Still got a lot of room to go. Like, I don't know. How many do you need? What, so Turnio sounds like it's something going on. It sounds like a hype fake show. This is Mr. Schechter with the mining pools can attack at any point. What's your source? Show your source. Don't read, what is your source? Okay. And look it up before you post it here. Look at the source. If it's an article, who wrote the article? Find them on LinkedIn. Look at what they do. Are they really know what they're talking about? If so, post it. We'll look into it. I want to get the facts. I'm not trying to fucking believe things, what do they call it? Confirmation bias, consistency bias. When you believe something, you want to stick with it. That's a human nature thing that is dangerous and you don't want to. As Charlie Munger says, you should get rid of one of your best ideas every year. And I think it's even more. I think twice a year you should get rid of your best idea. Something you really believe for a long time is a good idea. Keep in mind, things change, facts change. Get rid of that good idea. Bitcoin can't be attacked. Hey, maybe I find out I'm wrong. Great. I want to have that open mind. But I do a lot of reading. I follow a lot of experts. I've never heard anybody intelligent even say that. So listen, what's your source? Although I'm not generally I don't know. Someone talking about fork. I'm not going to get into. Oh, wait. Am I? Everybody's fighting with Scott Schechter here. Someone says, well, then correct me. No one has to correct you, Mr. Schechter, because who are you unless you define why you're an expert? You've been mining since 2009. You have created something, whoa. Why should anybody correct you? Why should anyone care what you say? Unless you're also, or you have a source that we should respect. Don't respect every voice you hear. And by not respect, I don't mean be assholes to people and say, fuck you. It's just like, listen, I love my parents. Great people. My father ran a great business. If he says, I don't know, I'm worried about this Bitcoin, I say, thank you for your concern, you know, but I don't, it's my father. He doesn't know shit about Bitcoin. I'm not worried, you know, it's like, great. I'm nice. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate your concern. And he says something. Hey, I'll look into that. But I don't follow what he says. He doesn't know anything about it, even though he's a nice person. Great guy. Where was I? This thing jumps every once in a while, and I lose where I am. Impossible microchannel. Okay, everybody fighting with Mr. Schechter here. Hopefully, I quieted that down. Dave, you're too funny. Thank you. Ooh, I think I'm at the end. I did all the questions. So, let's just see if I finish going through, you know, what's happening in crypto right now. If there's anything else exciting here. Other coins. You know, Litecoin, I sort of enjoy seeing Litecoin go down. I have nothing against Litecoin. My analogy on it, like I said, is I think there's some you know, a shark that swims and there's some little fish that swim in and out of their teeth eating the scraps. And they live together and they work together. And the fish help the shark, keeps its teeth clean. And the shark helps the fish because it gives them some scraps to eat. And they live together wonderfully. Bitcoin is the shark, Litecoin is the little fish. If you could choose which one to be, why would you be the little fish? I'd rather be the shark. So, you know, that's Litecoin. I think Litecoin started looking like a big fish getting stuck in the teeth. I think now they're coming back down to size. XRP, you know, I don't know. You know, I just love Stellar, so I would never get XRP. I think they're very similar, and Stellar I think is just way better. And whatever. I got a million videos talking about Stellar. I don't know if we need that. Qtum, I don't know why this it has been so. Let me look at the chart. It's kind of been hanging out up there. I don't get Qtum. I don't understand why there's much value to it. So looking at, now it's down. It's just like sort of up today, but it, yeah. So it's following the shitcoin pattern, which you know, hit a low in February. Like I said, Bitcoin hit its low February, April, June. Each time bounced off 6, bounced off 6, bounced off 6. Qtum in February bounced off 002. In March, so they sort of beat the April, bounced off 0016, and now it's at 0014. So it keeps getting lower and lower and lower on each bounce. So Qtum, I did a video where I thought it was the funniest thing about Qtum. If you go to their homepage, I wonder if they still have it. Is let me just see here. Qtum. They changed their homepage. There was a photo of like the developers, like all wearing like the same shirt or something. It was just, I don't know. They looked like a glee club. Dash, you know, I've talked about it. Dash. I'm also happy to see that thing back down, way back down. You know, let's look at this chart, because Dash, great story. This is the problem with investing in stories. Is stories are one thing, execution's another, and also the story changing. 8 months ago, I'm like, you know, they're trying to be money. They got privacy. They got speed. All these things. They're coming out with a new technology. It's gonna, you know, they're gonna be money, and it was a great story. Well, turns out the software is delayed. Turns out now that Bitcoin Lightning Networks, now Bitcoin has private, free, instant. So Dash's story is not that exciting anymore because Bitcoin is the same story. And meanwhile, now Bitcoin Solutions has been launched since January. Dash was supposed to launch in June and it's delayed. And let's look at their pace again. Same shitcoin path. February, their low was 6 cents. April low, 4 cents. And now we're down to 3 cents. Wait, what is 3 cents? Oh, this is compared to Bitcoin. I'm not looking at it in dollars, but Bitcoin's been kicking its butt. Let me look at it in USD just to be on the same page here. And I don't know if the last one had that same problem, but anyways, 451 and then 290 and now 240. So again, keeps going lower and lower, whereas Bitcoin keeps bouncing off 6. Hopefully you got my point. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know. Let's see. Any more questions, or maybe I'll take. How long have I gone here? Where are we? I don't know how long this video has been. I guess I started at 10. Oh, it's been an hour 20. I think I've put in my time. So let's see. And then Schechter. Ooh, Schechter. Dude, you're full on negative. The negative hype news. You know, this whole question about mining. It uses a lot of electricity. It takes that's what Bitcoin is sort of the, tokenizing electricity in a sense, because that's the proof of work. Like, well, it's not worth it, or it's expensive. Well, first of all, we'll see how much value Bitcoin adds to the world and if it was worth the electricity. I think it's a little early to sort of call the exact costs. And for a couple of reasons. Lightning Network is the scaling solution. It doesn't require mining. So, that brings up the analogy that someone once said is, oh my God, my wife is 8 months pregnant. At this pace, 5 years from now, she's going to be as big as the moon. The patterns don't always follow the pace. Just when you think it's about to collapse, things change. So with the mining electricity usage, we'll see. And the other thing is, well, what is, Bitcoin's trying to be money. What is the cost of the existing banking system? What does it cost to have all of these banks that we trust, and the cost of inflation, and the cost of regulations, and the cost of the way money is distributed from the banks rather than peer-to-peer through individuals, which the idea is that if lending comes from people who actually have money instead of bankers who create it from nothing, maybe better investment happens. What's the cost of bankers controlling loans versus, good business people who've earned money creating the loans, if that's the case? I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it. A little too early to call, to just say, well, Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, so it's bad, is just, I think, a very narrow analysis. It's also a little too early to start making the full judgment on Bitcoin because we don't know, its total value. We don't know the long run energy use, and nobody's comparing it to the cost of the existing system that it seeks to compete with, at least, if not replace. Clever tokenizing electricity. I read that somewhere. Someone explained it much better than me. So Schechter, I'm not slowing him down at all. I mean, he just keeps, he's fighting. You know what, Mr. Schechter? Just stop for 1 second. Take a minute. Stop typing. You listening, Mr. Schechter? Stop typing. I said stop typing. Listen. Just listen. You're fighting with people in the chat room. So, and this is my point entirely, which is listen to experts. Okay, so first of all, hey, listen, if you think I'm an expert, I appreciate it. All I do is study this shit all day. I have now for a year. All I do is study cryptocurrency. I think I'm an expert. Listen, whatever. If you think I am, then you listen to me. If you don't, you don't. You look at my history, whatever. Don't judge people as experts by whether you agree with them or not, okay? People in my chat room, and God bless, there may be fucking geniuses in this chat room, but you don't know that. You don't know who these people are. They're not experts. What are you fucking arguing with them? And now you have a show. If anybody's an expert that you, listen, like I said, someone in the chat room, I may have the most brilliant people in there, but you don't know who they are. There's no thing you can look up everybody's, LinkedIn from the chat room. So as far as you know, the only potential expert right now is me. Instead of listening to me, you're debating with people on the fucking chat, which shows that you gravitate towards I don't know what for getting your information, and then you're debating with people who I don't know why. And still, and I mentioned, and meanwhile, you're on this show. I said, what's your source for any of these things? You haven't posted anything about sources. You're just debating with people and saying, show me your facts. You're not, dude, come on. Wake up. And no offense. Believe me. First of all, I'm 50 years old. I've learned a lot of shit. I was stupider than many of you combined 10 years ago, let alone 25 years ago. Okay? So I get it. I know what it's like to be a clueless, you know, and no offense, because I was fucking clueless and I made it out of the clouds, right? And anybody can, and you might not even be clueless. You might be a genius in 30 fucking things, but when it comes to Bitcoin, you don't actually know. But the key, like I said, is listening to experts. So, you know, tone it down a little bit. I hope you're listening. I'm doing this out of love and to try to help you. I'm not mad at you, and you probably made the show more entertaining. So actually, I like you. Dave for president. Thank you. No, I don't think that's happening. Yeah, I am Satoshi. That's definitely not happening. My math skills weak. Who's going to win the World Cup? Not an expert. Don't know. So I think that's it. So like I said, just a reminder for those of you, you know, one of the main reasons I started this show was so that, like I've said many times, this show helps me learn and becomes a better investor and more knowledgeable by making the videos. And I've talked about that a bunch of times. But one of my original things too was, if this show is big enough, if I have enough followers, I could be able to get guests on who I can talk to. It's one thing to read like Saifedean's book, Bitcoin Standard. I think it's a great book. I learned a lot from it, but it's one thing to read it. It's another thing to be able to ask the author follow-up questions. So that was one of the points of my whole making this channel. I'm like, well, maybe someday I could actually maybe I get Jed McCaleb on the show if I had enough followers and ask him questions on things that I'm not able to read everywhere or haven't found out, or, you know, to take us deeper. And so that's one of my main goals. And I was pretty excited to get Saifedean on the show today. Now, whatever, he went to a show with more subscribers. He says he's sorry. He says he's going to come on. Please, like I said, nobody send him hate messages. I don't want him to think like my followers are all a bunch of fucking rude assholes. Even if we are, let's, for the sake of, you know, growing our knowledge, we want to be nice. But let him know that you are interested. You're interested in his book. If you bought the book, tell him you bought it. Tell him you're going to buy it. Do you want to watch the show? And maybe you'll buy. By the way, I'll put the link here in the comments for his book. You know, and whether or not he's an asshole or not, I think you should read the book. I mean, it's great. It's an important book. I majored in economics. This book opened my eyes. University of Michigan sort of ripped me off. Anyways, his Twitter is at SAIFEDEAN. That's at SAIFEDEAN. Send him a nice message. Say, hey, love Dave's show. Wish you came on today. Please come on again. I want to learn from you. You know, the guy's a professor, I believe. You know, you want to learn from him. You want to, you know, whatever from the show and anything about the book. Listen, he's trying to get sales. Professors don't make a ton of money. He'd probably like to know that people are buying the book. Hey, I bought it. I'm going to buy it. Let him know. I think with that sort of encouragement, next time I won't get kicked out by some fucking gold bug, Tony Bays, and send Tony Bays a message telling him he's a fucking asshole for stealing my guest. No, don't do that, please. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, someone's saying, when is he coming on? He fucking blew me off. Saifedean blew me off. He's on another show today. He said, it was, you know, sorry about the conflict. I think he got a last-minute offer to be on this show, and they have 67,000 subscribers, and I only have 10. But my 10 are worth 10x more because you guys are loyal. Like, honestly, the people who watch me, like a lot of people, like the people watching this live show, I don't get as many as when I do it at 6 p.m. on a Friday, but like when I do it, like I do it on a Friday, I got 150 people watching. An hour and a half later, there's still 150 people. You guys are fucking loyal and people who watch my stuff. So who knows with Tony Bays. But anyways, Saifedean is not coming on today. So that's why I said, if you send him a message, tell him you want him on my show. I'll schedule it another time. This is embarrassing. I mean, it's not even embarrassing. What do I care? But, you know, it's sad. I want to ask him these questions. And I'm going to make a video. My next video is going to be, guess what, guys? I'm going on vacation again. My sister's in town tomorrow for a couple days, and then we're all flying. My parents have a place in New Hampshire. I'm there for a week with the kids. So I'm not making any more videos for a little bit. I'll be on vacay again. So we'll see. Yeah, and so no kidding, you could get another appointment. Yeah, you know, Saifedean, he did reply. You know, I said, hey, dude, the show's starting. He said, you know, oh, first he tried to say, I didn't think we were recording. I don't know what he thought. I mean, I think that was a little BS. And then he said, sorry, I have another commitment. And then I wrote something back, and it's like, oh, I mixed up the dates. Very embarrassed. He's going on Tony Bay's, and I'll do it again with you. He said he'll reschedule. And I think if he gets a few messages from you, my loyal audience, I think he'll come on. I hope. I mean, listen, whatever. You know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, sorry for those of you who are looking forward to it. I mean, I'm more disappointed than anybody. Like I said, I had a bunch of good questions prepared. You know, like good, deep questions, not just, you know, when moon, real questions, deep, going deeper than his book. So whatever. He owes you. Yeah, listen, I don't know what he think. You know, I understand that if nobody watches this stuff and like you look, you know, who am I? You know, people just judge it. Look, if I saw some YouTuber, actually, I know enough. I would watch the thing to see what somebody's about. But if a lot of times people just look, well, how many subscribers, right? It's like I only have 10,000. Whatever. It's only been a year. It hasn't even been a year yet. So who knows? I said he won't come on if I don't pay him. You know, this is just a webcam show. He can come on for a half hour. And yes, I think he cares about money, and I respect that. He's not, listen, he didn't sell sex toys on the internet for 20 years. Like, I can afford to be kind of cool about money. He's a professor, wants to make some money. But I think if he knows, that's why with some of the comments, if you're like, oh, I bought the book, I'm going to buy the book, that this is related to drumming up sales, and he comes on for a half hour and answers questions, it's not that hard to do. I don't know that he's going to fly to LA and go to a Bitcoin meetup for free, you know, from Europe. Okay. And I respect, it's fine, you know, because we're also I'm trying to help him come out to LA to get to some meetup. You know, but I think he would come on if he knows that there are people who really want to hear his shit and are interested in the book. That's my hope. If he doesn't, whatever. Yes. I'll pirate his book. Well, don't tell him that. Just say I read your book and I loved it. Don't tell him you stole the book. Don't steal it. It's not expensive. Like I said, you know, listen, no matter what you think of the guy, I think the book is good. It's very useful. He certainly put a lot of time into writing it. He deserves to earn some money for it. It's not expensive. I put the link in for it. Let's see here. It's you know, it's $12 on Kindle. Hardcover's $20. I got it on Kindle. For $12, when you compare that to cost of going to college or other educational things, fucking $12. It's not a lot of money. So, you know, whatever. My dream portfolio, I've said this many times, right now, 50% Bitcoin, 30% Stellar, 20% Ethereum. However, today, I would only buy Bitcoin. Now, if you're going to put in X into the crypto market and you already have 50% of X in Bitcoin, you start buying the others. But if you, let's just say you want to put in, you know, 10,000 into crypto today and you don't have any, I would buy the 5,000 Bitcoin over time first before I buy a penny of these other things, at least now. Now that can change, and it will change, but today, Bitcoin. The Scott Schechter keeps going. He just doesn't listen. No hope. Sorry. You know. He just speaks his mind. Yes. You know, it's funny. The whole thing about being real, I'm sort of lucky that when I was younger, I remember talking to someone. I still remember the conversation, sitting in a friend's room, and he was just like, why do people lie? Why do people make stuff up? Like, what's the point? And I remember talking to him, and I'm thinking, remember, like, occasionally, like, people, we make stuff up because it helps. Like, in the short run, you can sort of improve things. And I just sort of adopted, it's a good point. It's just always being honest, and sort of did that. And then, so the problem with the lying is it creates a web, because you have to sort of defend your past lies. You lose track. It's a very slippery slope, and it goes on for years. So I, for whatever reason, it's sort of luck that I started with this thing. I just tell the truth. I also have, if you ever met my mother, she probably should lie about some of her opinions. Just speaks her mind, you know. So it's maybe runs in my family. And now that I'm older, what an advantage I have. And the funny thing for me is I don't know anything else. Like, I sort of can't even associate with people who like try to pretend there's something else. Like, I don't even know how to do that and what that even means. And I don't even notice. I started 10 years ago that I started to notice that people say that about, oh, you're real. Oh, you're real. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, because I don't know, what does it mean to not be real? Like, I forgot about this thing that I thought of when I was 13 and just decided to just always be real. And like, and then I'm like, well, what does that mean? What else are people? I didn't realize. And then when I was in Hollywood, which is like the king of not being real, it still took a while for it to sink in and understand. And now I see, you know, I still don't totally understand people that are completely fake all the time, or the level to which apparently everybody is. I don't know. I don't, but I do understand. And then I hear it so much about me. So, and it's sort of true. So my advice to anybody is just fuck bullshit. Like, forget about impressing it. Just be honest. It's hard enough to express your real feelings, your real opinions, like to figure out what they are and get it out and like actually in the words that translate what you're trying to say. Hard enough to do it when you're honest. If you're trying to make something up, you're just going to be marble mouth, or eventually, or just be weak, you know, because your opinion's just hard. So that is something I do. Happy about it now. You know, are you accusing me of making stuff up? No, Schechter. First of all, I'm accusing you of not listening. Like, I literally, during this show, Mr. Schechter, I'm gonna put in a comment. Mr. Scheck. Oh my God. How do you spell this? Schechter. H-T-E-R. Listen to me for 1 second. Stop typing. Okay. I put in that comment. Now we got to wait, like there's a 10-second delay, because he's not going to start listening until he reads the comment. Okay. So now let's wait another minute. He's still, now he read it and he's like, what does he mean listen? Wait, is this video talking to me? Yes, Mr. Schechter, I'm talking to you. And the reason I'm making a big deal right now is because I literally interrupted the show like 20 minutes ago just to speak to you. And I don't think you heard it. If you did hear it, you didn't listen, because I'm referring to here where you're like, what, am I lying? Or are you accusing me of making stuff up? No, that's not what anybody's saying. We're saying one thing. Listen carefully. Are you typing? He's still typing. No, the reason you're not listening is because you're typing. Oh my God. Yeah, monologue about people making stuff up. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yes, I did have a monologue about people making stuff up that had no relation to you. Are you also a narcissist? I specifically said something about you, and then I went on to another topic. So if you did get the thing about me, which was, okay, so that's what you're thinking. I was still talking about you. Okay, Mr. Schechter, my only point to you is listen to experts. Okay, and don't debate with people in a chat room ever. Even my chat room, which has the best chatters ever. Don't debate with people. Don't go on Reddit and argue with a bunch of idiots. And on Twitter. Listen to experts. That was my only point to you. The rest, now I go back to, I'm talking to the general audience. I was referring to someone commented about how, Dave, you're real. If you were listening, you would have noticed I was replying to a comment. Someone said, oh, Dave, you're so real. And I talked about me being real and how most people aren't, which is true. Most people aren't. Well, I don't know, Schechter, if you're real or not. I don't know you, and I'm not talking about you, but you don't listen much. And apparently you do listen to people who aren't experts. So just, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help, but you sort of making a lot of noise in the chat room, so you called attention to yourself. No offense, you know, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to help, like I said. And another thing I said was, believe me, I used to fucking talk a lot online. To debate used to be, you know, I debate about religion and communism online with a bunch of morons. And yeah, I knew my stuff. I studied stuff in school, and I had my well thought opinions. But what's the point of all that? You know, I used to. It's fun. I remember University of Michigan. I go debate with the communists. Hung out in the quad. It's fun. I used to. My question to them was always, you know, they want to control the economy. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So what flavors of ice cream are you gonna have? They look at me. I'm like, well, you're going to be in charge of the economy. I'm just curious when you're running it, like what flavors of ice cream? Because it's an issue for me. And then my next question was always, this is back like Intel coming out with Pentium chip. I'm like, so Intel's coming up with the Pentium. What are you guys going to do next? You know, of course they have no clue. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, so look at. Poor timing. Got it. I'm done. Don't leave him cry, because that means you're not listening. You're blocking out the pain of hearing something you don't like, which is another thing that is like I said, confirmation bias, consistency bias are things that all humans have. We don't want to hear that we're wrong or whatever. And then it's like sometimes you got to, and listen, I'm a victim of this too. You read the news that you want to hear. You know, I follow a Bitcoin maximalist and read about how Bitcoin is awesome, and I own Bitcoin and it feels good. You know, and you don't want to read. I had a friend sent me an article. It was a video, professor talking about why Bitcoin sucks, or it was why blockchain sucks and all. I'm like, oh, I got to listen to it because I have to hear the other sides of the story. I listen to the Federal Reserve, you know, guys who are sort of against it. You've got to hear the other side of the story. It can be painful, but that's how we learn and grow. I meant I'm done talking now. You made me do it again. Oh, I made you start chatting. You can't help yourself. Are you on your phone? You're on your phone all day, aren't you? Fucking Facebook. You need to, if you're in a relationship right now, tell your significant other, because she's gonna love me, that I told you to get off your fucking phone. Or he, whatever you're into. You know what I'm saying? Or you might be like me and all you do is sit at home alone with nobody. But at least I'm not sitting here all day on my phone chatting with morons. I was a bit of a troll. I thought that was fun. And that's why too, I have thick skin. I love, like if I get a comment and someone like hates me and they write all this mean shit, I love that. I find it so fun because I don't take it personally. Like obviously the person doesn't know me. And it's sort of, if somebody's just like angry and like mad at me about something, they clearly have issues. Like I feel bad for them. But I also have a license to sort of fire back, and like I find it quite enjoyable. I don't, if someone in my family tells me I'm stupid and they're really mad at me and they think I'm bad, I'd be hurt and concerned. But if some random person on the internet is like, you're a fucking moron, I love that. It's hilarious. I'm not encouraging you all. Listen, it can wear on you. I get it. And I don't bother with Twitter. It's only YouTube, which is a little, I think, probably a better group of type of comments than you might find on Twitter. But and it depends where you go. But what flavor of dildo? Wait, Dave should have asked the communists what flavor of dildo they were. Right. What new sex toys should they come out with next year? This is popular. And these are popular. What should we come out with? I mean, these are the decisions they're going to have to come out with, right? They're in charge of the economy, but unless they're going to are they going to get rid of the sex toy industry? I mean, maybe. But then what? Or what about people that already own a toy? Can they continue to use it? Can they sell it on the black market? Next videos should be advised, Dave. What does that mean, Mr. Jaco? All right. More life skills. Actually, I'm working. Oh, yeah. Another video I'm going to make is so teaching kids. I'm fucking tired and I'm really hungry. I can't even get into a new thing. I got 2 videos. One is talking about I'm on vacation. I'm just gonna put out a video on that so people know. And the other, I'm gonna talk about, I actually have a kid, he's 14, a friend of mine's friend, he's gonna come for like an internship. I'm just gonna teach the kid about business for 3 days. He's 14. And it has me thinking, you know, what are the most important things to teach a young person? And these apply to older people. Like I see with my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old, I teach them shit. And I'm like, this is, you know, when you get all worked up, you got to learn how to calm down. That's something people deal with their entire lives, right? You know, how to say hello and goodbye. Like people look someone in the eye. Like these are issues. A lot of the stuff you teach your 5-year-olds, the same shit needs to learn when someone's older. And so I'm going to talk also about it. It seems to me that there's nothing about money taught in school. So I'm going to sort of crowdsource. I'm going to make a video on this. If you are a kid who's in school, or you have any kids that are in school, you know people, is there anything being taught about money in school? And that does not include making change. Everybody, when I ask it, they're like, oh yeah, well, if you give a quarter and it costs 14 cents, how much change? That's math. It's fun math, whatever. It's got nothing to do with money. That's not what money is. And also, in the future, money's going to be digital. There's no change. You send the exact amount. It's so stupid. But is there any education about money? I'm curious. And then, so I'm going to come out with some basic things, basic education for life. And I'm just going to, I can't stop, can I? I just can't stop going. Some of the advice I've got from my 14-year-old friend. I mean, I actually have more people watching than I did an hour. You guys are crazy. Do most important thing first in the morning. Sort of obvious, right? But, you know, just there's always, what's the most important thing? Have that on your list. Do the first thing, the most important thing first. Right, then earlier I mentioned that. About controlling your time. You know, time setting, you know, people, I don't think enough time, not only what you want to do, but when are you going to do it? How much time per week or which days? Sort of schedule in the time for things you want to do. Be in control of your time. The value of writing things down. An idea in your head is 10% as valuable as that idea written down. Because when you write it, there's a whole thing about that and how it communicates with your whole brain, all the different parts of your brain, gets you on the same page. Writing shit out, super valuable. I'm going to talk to him about reading. Most of you might know that. Pointing to some other, if you're interested in marketing, show him this video. Start at 23 minutes. Start at 23 minutes on this video. Actually, the link gives you great fucking info on if you're interested in marketing. And talk a little bit about more shit about marketing, because I know a lot about internet marketing. Help this kid out. His father suggested I talk about that too. And then I got 2 of my videos. These are sort of, again, business. I think he wants business lessons more than just life. I'm going to throw out a couple life nuggets in a second. But these are 2 videos that I made on this channel that are sort of more about general business. And I'm going to do these with this kid, my boy. And the other thing with health, keep it simple. Everybody's got, I see people taking 60 supplements and all this shit. Listen, number 1, you can go weeks without eating, days without drinking water, minutes without breathing. Breathing is a physical exercise. Make sure you're deep breathing and do meditation, sort of connected. Next, water. Like drink a big glass of water in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It's a flow. You want like a river with the shit moving through you. With food, there's so many people with so many theories on food. 2 things, very simple to remember. One is we eat life. With any food, look at how close it is to being alive. So, you know, you could, like a potato. Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? I don't know. But if it's a potato and it's fresh, or you heat it up, heating things up is good. It loosens it up, makes it easier maybe to access the chemicals. I mean, the nutrients in the potato. So if you have a potato, that's like actually alive. The cells in the thing are alive, right? If you get a potato chip, maybe the potato was frozen and then they fried it and then it's been in a bag for a month, very far from being alive. So it's not about what the food is. It's how close is it to being alive. And the other is your stomach is a friggin' chemical experiment for breaking shit down. And it's always different. One thing to keep it simple is fewer ingredients are easier. Those are my health pro tips from a Bitcoin expert or cryptocurrency expert. So I'm on LinkedIn. I don't really connect. I don't really chat with anyone on LinkedIn. My only real social media thing right now is this YouTube. If you comment, I read the comments. I answer to them. I think you can email me, but if it's pitch, I delete any ICO shit or anyone who wants me to invest. But if you have a question, you can probably get my email, I think, through YouTube because I keep getting messages somehow. So I think there's a way in there. You can also find me online and find my info if you have a question. Excuse me. I do that. And otherwise, it's YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, but I don't communicate with people through that. Dave, in America, there's no alive food. Listen, Whole Foods is across the street from me. Vegetables, fruit, that's fresh. Fresh food is a lot. Meat, too. I don't eat much meat in my quest to lower ingredients. And I find it's easier to digest vegetables and stuff for me, whatever. But I don't know. If you're on a meat diet, it could be fine, too, if you're eating fresh meat. I don't know if I would, beef jerky is not as alive as filet mignon medium rare. So, one may taste better than the other, but it's about being alive. And there's plenty of live food if you don't go to McDonald's, right? McDonald's food, not very alive. I think they have salad. Maybe that is. Okay. Whole Food. I mean the store Whole Foods, which Amazon now purchased. It's a grocery store that specializes in healthier, a lot of this organic stuff. It's nice. They don't use pesticides. But I'm talking about it's fresh. They have really good fruit and vegetables in Whole Foods. And they have, they have this prepared food area where they have a bok choy thing and they just cook some bok choy. And every day they've got this thing where they seem to do something with boiling broccoli with pieces of whole garlic in it. That's fresh. Those are whole broccoli, a piece of broccoli boiled. That is a whole food. It's not some mixed, frozen, concocted, stupid thing. And if you have broccoli and garlic, that's it. You know what you're eating. And they also show the calories for all these things on their prepared foods. And I think that's great. This broccoli garlic's it's really good. I like it. It's like very few calories. I ate a whole bucket of the thing. It's like not many calories. So you get the joy of like being full at a very low cost. By cost, I mean cost on the body. If you're getting food coma, that means you're eating too much. Believe me, I do it all the friggin' time. But if you eat and then you're exhausted, you just overloaded your belly, you're using a ton of energy to deal with all the shit you put in your belly. What happened with Brooke? You know what's funny? Okay, I said I got to get out of here. Okay, I'm going to try to end with this. For those who don't know, no. I was on some bad reality shows, 2008, 2009, Millionaire Matchmaker. So this girl, Brooke, she went to Harvard and seemed awesome. I don't know if I should tell this whole story. I don't want to embarrass her. I don't know. Here's the thing. It didn't work out when the episode. Let me just tell you this, Patty. No, what am I gonna say? Listen, Brooke. She had a boyfriend. She came to one of my parties. She didn't fit in. No, see, whatever. It's hard to be honest, and I don't want to be mean to her. The funny thing is, she lives in my town here. I bumped into her. She's like, "Hey, Dave." I'm like, "Who are you?" She's like, "Brooke." I'm like, "Brooke?" Like, for billionaire matchmaker? I'm like, no way. So she lives here. She's nice enough. Didn't work out. I thought, you know, when I picked her on the show, I was like, okay, she seems really cool. Actually, I wasn't expecting that. Turned out not for me. You know, if someone starts saying that I was horrible, I'll come out. And I'm not talking about that. Calories not important. Listen, when you get older, you know, who's this? Who says calorie? Thomas AV. How old are you? 22. Yeah, calories don't matter. You get to my age, trust me, fucking matters. It's almost all that matters. And not to mention, if you look at science, one of the few things they have that they have a lot of scientific results that have shown the one thing to increase your length of life is less calories. Like, just period. It doesn't even matter what the food is. Just lower calorie consumption, enough calories to get the nutrients you want, and less calories extends the length of your life. One of the most taxing things in your body is dealing with the shit you put through your body. And as you get older, any extra calorie just goes on as fat, fucking drags you down. You feel like you're gonna pass out. I mean, calories is super important. So there you go. Still have a pole? No, the stripper pole gone a while ago, but I'm still fucking good on that pole, even as an old man. Sometimes I might not be able to move my back after that because I get all fired up. But I give a mean lap dance. My line used to be, you know, say to a woman, would you like a lap dance? It's free, but nude is $20. Nobody ever gave me $20. I don't know why. 35 years old. Okay. Hey, listen, I was, listen, see what you say if calories don't matter. Do you work out 40 hours a day at 35? At 35, you're still freaking young. Okay? Trust me. I'm 50. Getting there. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you all, as usual, for coming. And one last time, remember, send a nice message to Saifedean on Twitter at SAIFEDEAN. Hope to see him on Dave's show. Thanks for the book. I read it. I'm going to read it. I bought it. I'm going to buy it, whatever it is. Want to learn from you. Nice things. Sorry you weren't on the show. I was looking forward to you. No hate mail, no troll show. Let's make him want to come on. I think we can learn from him. And even if you hate him, you know, someone was like, oh, he's an asshole and this and that. Hey, maybe he is an asshole, but he's a smart asshole, right? So there you go. Okay. Do you believe that BTC will go to 5K? Didn't it 2 days ago? It hit 5,800. It's gone. It's been in the fives 3 times now. And each of those drops, it looks like the floor is 6,000, whether you get a few minutes in the 5,000. Will there be another drop? Maybe. Maybe not. Where is it going? Is it going down? My prediction is that it'll either go up or down, or after it goes up, it might go down, or it could go down and then go up. So pay attention. Thank you all. Much love.